You know, I used to think that Steve Harvey was a simp, and I still do. Well, it's your lucky day. We've got some more marriage advice from Steve Harvey.
Keep your damn mouth shut.
There it is. There it is.
Just shut up.
That's right.
Don't say nothing.
Right.
It's best don't say nothing. There ain't no trying to fix. That way you ain't got to fix. What if you're right? What? What did he say? What did you say? What if you're right? What if you're right? How are you married? Yes, I do. You actually said that? What if you're right?
Yes.
When? I mean, sometimes. When? What?
I love it.
Boy, your ain't gonna make 15. I can tell you that right now.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
All right, so something was funny there. I couldn't figure it out, but they're all laughing about the situation Steve Harvey's in, where it pretty much sounds like he's living that happy wife, happy life, love. And like this commenter says, the phrase happy wife, happy life is a cry for help. But what was really funny was this next comment that says, sounds like a man with a lot to lose and no prenuptial agreement. And it got me thinking, you know what? This guy's right. Steve Harvey definitely does not have a prenuptial agreement. And after registering that, because I've known this for a while, after registering that, I kind of understood what he meant. If you had millions of dollars to lose, if things went south, you probably keep your mouth shut too.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
And you know what? I'm curious. Let's talk to our AI assistant barista, Miss Coffee. Miss Coffee, how much is Steve Harvey worth?
As of December 2024, Steve Harvey's net worth is estimated to be approximately $200 million. This wealth primarily stems from his extensive career in television hosting, comedy, acting, and various business ventures. Primary income sources: television hosting. Harvey has been the host of Family Feud since 2010, reportedly earning at least $10 million per season.
Right.
Parade, additionally, he hosts the Steve Harvey Morning Show, a nationally syndicated...
All right, that's enough. How much has Steve Harvey made from simping, Miss Coffee?
Steve Harvey's candid relationship advice, as showcased in his book Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, has not only provided valuable insights to many, but also contributed significantly to his financial success.
Stop.
The book's popularity led to a successful film adaptation, further enhancing his earnings.
All right. He made a lot of money from simping, is what it sounds like. So long story short, hella money is the answer. He's made hella money from simping. Hypothetical situation here. Hypothetical situation, Miss Coffee. Can you give me a very, very, very brief scenario, hypothetical scenario of how much his wife would win in case of a divorce? Like how much was she? Just very brief, please.
In the event of a divorce between Steve and Marjorie Harvey, the financial settlement would depend on various factors, including prenuptial agreements, the duration of the marriage, and individual contributions to their combined assets.
He doesn't have a prenuptial agreement, but maybe she doesn't know that.
Given Steve Harvey's estimated net worth of around $200 million, a settlement could potentially involve a substantial portion of his assets.
Ooh.
However, without specific details about their financial arrangements, it's challenging to determine an exact figure. It's worth noting that in 2018, rumors suggested Marjorie was seeking a $400 million divorce settlement, which was unfounded,
Really?
especially considering Steve's net worth was estimated at $200 million. Nikki Swift. Ultimately, the specifics of any potential settlement would be determined through legal proceedings and are speculative without concrete information. Paid off handsomely sources.
Miss Coffee, you're kind of messy. I really didn't want all that information. From what I know, they do not have a prenup. I need to know how much net worth would he have to pay her? Short, brief, hypothetical, please.
In California, a community property state, assets and debts acquired during a marriage are typically divided equally upon divorce. If Steve and Marjorie Harvey were to divorce without a prenuptial agreement, Marjorie could be entitled to approximately half of the assets accumulated during their marriage.
Wow.
Given Steve Harvey's estimated net worth of $200 million, this could result in a settlement of around $100 million, depending on the specifics of their financial situation and any separate property considerations. Paid off handsomely sources.
Wow. Listen. As soon as I heard community property state in California, I realized why Steve Harvey takes the stance he does in relationships. And speaking of prenuptial agreements, it seems like a perfect time to introduce the sponsor of today's video, fathershaverights.com.
I have to tell you, a marriage contract is, in my view, the only contract in the United States where no one explains to you what your rights or obligations are.
How many men before they get married go and put down $500 on a receptionist's desk and says, tell that man in the back to come out here and tell me for an hour what I need to know about one of the most important contracts they will ever sign in their life?
Not many.
Hardly not any, if we're gonna be honest.
Like, you lease a car, you sign a contract. I'm gonna give you this amount of money, you're gonna let me drive this car. If it gets damaged, here's what's gonna happen. You know your rights and obligations. Marriage contract doesn't have anything like that. It just says we solemnly pledge we're gonna get married and we're married to each other and that's it. A prenup is really an invitation to having that discussion. Why are we getting married? What do we owe each other? And having an honest conversation about the economy that is marriage.
Listen, if you're engaged or soon to be married, you can head to fathershaverights.com and get legal information on how to properly prepare for your prenup. This video is titled, Let's Talk About Real Pros and Cons of Prenups, featuring Steve Harvey.
All right, now most of us have heard the song Gold Digger by Kanye West. And we know that line when he yells, we won't prenup, we won't prenup. Now, he's of course talking about a prenuptial agreement where you basically agree to not touch each other's money if you ever get divorced. How would you react if you were asked to sign a prenup?
When it comes to prenups, I'm old school. I think if I'm going to trust you and marry you, therefore I do not want to sign a prenup. I think that if I'm going to marry you, I trust you enough that if things don't work out, that you will be fair. I think that signing a prenup plants a seed of doubt and it gives you an out and it makes it okay if it doesn't work out.
This type of thinking is so detrimental. You're trusting him to be fair, but it's not just up to him. It's up to his lawyers. It's up to the courts. It's up to the lawyers and how long they want to drag the process. Because as long as there's a disagreement, there is an ongoing battle. Let's keep listening.
And honestly, I think that marriage is a commitment. It's a lifelong commitment that you are making. I understand, obviously, some divorces, it just doesn't work out that easily.
Over half.
Over half. But for me personally, I think once you say
Steve would know. That's sad.
I do, then you do. And if someone asked me to sign a prenup, I don't think I'd go through with the marriage. I really don't.
I think it is a complete mistake not to sign a prenup. It is a complete mistake. And
I knew we had a smart woman on this panel. Yes, ma'am.
here's why. And those of you out there who have been married before, then you know that the person you marry is not the person that you divorce. Right? And it's all fine and good when you're preparing a marriage. And when things go bad, I feel like as women, we should be powerful and we should be in charge and in control of our futures. And I also think that people think that prenups are only about money. But I have lots of clients that have signed prenups. For example, a recent client of mine signed a prenup. The only thing she wanted in the prenup is she said, if we divorce, you cannot take my kids. And it was really clear up front, because we all know sometimes you want something, right? And then you are left holding the bag.
So the thing that I like actually about prenups is, as you said, a lot of couples over 50% are getting divorced these days. One of the main reasons for divorce is financial issues. And so it brings up the financial conversation prior to getting married. A lot of times people don't realize where people are financially until after they get married. They don't realize how much debt someone's in or how many properties they might have or where money might be stashed. It's a good conversation to start prior to getting married so that you know what you're getting
But
into.
is there a certain
afterwards.
economic level to participate in a
Before
prenup?
they
Or is it just for everybody?
No.
I had nothing to prenup before. If you leave me, you're going to get half. We ain't got nothing.
That's very funny, but you have stuff now and don't have a prenup. Let's go back to what she said right there, because the woman that spoke, the other very intelligent black woman there in the pink who spoke, she said something that's very, very important. You got to think of how crazy this is, right? People today will marry somebody and not know how much money they have. And you may think, okay, that doesn't matter. Cool. But also not know how much debt that person actually owns. And you're signing a contract without understanding how much of that person's debt or how much of your assets or your debt you're going to be given to that person. Maybe you're the one with the debt. We all know that getting married in today's day and age is a gamble. But I think what's a lot worse is getting married and not even doing the due diligence, because maybe you won't get the prenup. But you do not understand the gravity of the situation, the legal implications, none of it. That's how most people walk into a marriage.
So if we leave you, I'm going to take 80%. We have nothing. When I married Marjorie, I had something. But we didn't do a prenup because I knew this is the chick. I'm going to the tape with this.
But I think that is admirable. However, I just don't think that most men think like you.
I
don't think most people think like you. And I think it's important.
But that's why you can't go marry most men. I dated most men.
Right.
I dated them all.
She was like, I like that. I like that.
And I knew when I was dating them that they were the type of person to not be fair at the end. That's why I did not marry them. I married my husband, who I knew no matter what, at the end of the day, it did not matter what happened between us and what beef we had at the end of the day, he was going to be fair. And one of the reasons why I married him is because I knew when we had kids, unlike my circumstance, that not only was he going to be fair with me, but if something did happen between us, he was going to be there for my daughter no matter what.
Guys, final statement here. That last lady, that's a level of ignorance and arrogance that usually, with time and life lived, gets beat out of you. For you to sit there and say that you have another human being all figured out, that you're sure they would never, that you're sure 100% they could never do this, and that, that's a very immature, naive perspective of looking at life. People act differently depending on the situation. How do you know how that person would react or act during a divorce? Sure, they may not do the most extreme thing, but I bet you they'll do some things that will probably surprise you. And you might say, you know what? I never thought you'd do that. Wow. And that might change your life. And maybe that's a lesson a lot of people need to learn. But this idea that it can never be me, I picked the right person, and just walking around with that type of arrogance is not a very humble way of approaching life. And people usually get humbled. And there is a sort of respect of life, of understanding that, you know what, anything can happen out here in life. Expect the best, but be prepared for the worst. That's it. FathersHaveRights.com, the #1 guide to drafting a solid and legally binding prenup. Appreciate you guys. Till next time. I'm out. Peace.